I think what makes repair and recover a unique and exciting formula that I think our patients and our caregiving process desperately needed was that it's the first formula that really incorporates a range of the new science and evidence for the nutritional interventions that most benefit the preparation and recovery of our patients, both in how we prevent infection using arginine and fish oil, and how we correct vitamin D, which has been shown to reduce complications. If patients have low vitamin D coming into surgery, their complication risk is much higher. And so I think we're all beginning to believe that it's essential to replete vitamin D in our surgical patients. To the recovery components or the pre-op optimization components that we believe increase muscle mass, which we think is our key metabolic reserve for surgery, and allow for us to recover from the operation so we can walk again, so we can do the activities we want to do and live the life we want to lead. And that's where key nutrients like creatine. Creatine is one of the most widely and best studied of all the legal therapeutic nutrients you can take. 90% of high school athletes take it. It's been studied and shown safe when given for years to patients and people. It doesn't have any adverse effects on the kidney or any other organ. And we know it increases strength and increases the ability of muscle to do what our patients want to do, like get up out of a chair, walk down the street, walk up the stairs. Creatine improves the ability of people's muscles to do those basic activities as well as build strength in athletes. And so it does the things we want our patients to be able to do. There also seems to be some evidence it may have some benefits for the brain on cognition, and more research is being done there. But there's a wide variety of effects on many organs where creatine may have benefit. But I think in particular for the surgical patient, improving muscle mass before surgery, which we know improves outcomes, and recovering muscle strength and mass and function after surgery, which is always our goal for our patients to recover. And then the other nutrient that's really crucial here is HMB, or hydroxymethylbutyrate, which is another nutrient that is critical to muscle building and muscle recovery. It's an mTOR agonist that stimulates muscle to grow. There is a growing and large body of evidence for its benefits in the elderly and in young athletes as well, but especially in the elderly, improving their recovery, say, from hip fracture, improving their recovery from orthopedic surgery, improving the ability to heal wounds and be able to walk distances after injuries like hip fractures. It's been studied in many different surgical subtypes and had multiple studies that show benefit. And I think one of the most exciting studies was a study that showed that HMB has a big effect on the muscle we lose from bed rest. So for instance, if I lay a 21-year-old down in a bed for 28 days, they won't be able to walk. They will lose so much muscle mass. NASA did those experiments with astronauts. But if I take a 70-year-old and I lay them down in bed for just 10 days, they'll lose as much, 3 times more muscle mass than the 21-year-old that laid down for 28 days. And if I take a 70-year-old and I lay them down for 3 days, they'll lose as much muscle mass when they're sick as the 70-year-old did in 10 days when they're well. So just 3 days in a bed for a 70-year-old who has an illness or an injury is a massive insult to their muscle. And we've thought up until now there was no way to prevent that. Well, a really excellent study from Mick Deutz, who's the editor-in-chief of Clinical Nutrition, one of the most respected muscle physiology researchers with nutrition in the world, he showed you could virtually entirely reverse or prevent the loss of muscle from bed rest by giving HMB to elderly people who were laid in bed. And so that is enormously exciting for the potential of this nutrient being added to this formula. Because again, when someone has a major operation, an orthopedic operation, or say falls and fractures their hip or fractures some ribs, one of the major insults that leads to the end of their life is the muscle loss they experience, not just from the injury, but from laying in bed and not being mobile. And when we're 70 years old, those just 3 to 5 to 7 days in bed can lead to muscle loss that will never be recoverable and lead to the patient getting pneumonia or blood clots that will take their life. Hip fractures and other injuries and falls are a major cause of morbidity and death in elderly people. It's a common way, sadly, that so many of our elderly patients and elderly family members ultimately meet the end of their life, and it doesn't have to be that way. Interventions like HMB can prevent that muscle loss and allow that elderly person, or our grandmothers or our grandfathers or our friends who, as they age, it allowed them to stay strong enough to get back out of bed, to do rehabilitation, to get their lives back and continue to have a meaningful life. And so I think what is truly unique about repair and recover is it takes all of these nutrients that for years after years now we've had exciting evidence that they change the outcome both in the short term and the long term for our surgical patients, and they've been put into one simple to use formula that anybody can use that is made of the highest quality ingredients. I think one of the things that really impressed me and really motivated me to want to collaborate and consult with men to build these formulas is these are the same nutrients that I take every day of my life. And again, I've had 27 surgeries, so I could have surgery tomorrow. I'm always at risk of going to the operating room. And when I looked at what you had in mind at Mend, and I thought, what are the things I take every day that I have to have 12 or 15 pill bottles and powder bottles in my house to take? This was an exciting chance to put all those into one thing so that the person off the street could say, where can I get all the things that have the science to help me recover best from surgery or help me prepare best for surgery, and where can I get it all in one place? I've spent a lifetime learning how to take all these different things I take every day, and then I encourage my patients to take. Now you can get it all in one place in a trusted set of ingredients that has the science, and we know will change the outcomes of our patients and have had the science for that for many years, and now you can get it all in one place.